My name is Elara Grey. For 12 years, I've worked the night shift at the Harbor Falls 911 call center. I've heard it all: the drunken fights, the heart attacks, the whispered confessions of crimes in progress. You develop a rhythm, a clinical distance. You learn to separate the signal from the noise. That ended 3 nights ago. It was 2:17 a.m., the quiet lull before the chaos of last call bars spills into the lines. The call came in on line 7, which usually handles non-emergency municipal services. The ID tag read, "Unknown." I answered with my standard tired script. 911, what is your emergency? Silence. Then, the smallest, most fragile voice I've ever heard. Can you hear me? Yes, sweetie, I can hear you. What's wrong? Where are your parents? A ragged, hiccuping breath. They can't hear me. No one can. Except the bad man. He hears me all the time. Chills spider walk down my spine. Kid calls are the worst. What's your name, honey? Tell me where you are. Lily, she whispered. Lily Ann Miller. I'm in the white room, upstairs. I typed the name into our system. It auto-populated with a cold case file from 1997. Lily Ann Miller, age 7, missing, presumed deceased. My breath caught. A prank. A sick, twisted prank. Lily, I said, forcing calm. Can you tell me the address? The yellow house. With the swing. It's broken now. Her voice grew faint, static-laced, as if coming from a great distance. He's coming. He always comes when I talk. Who's coming, Lily? Who's the bad man? The line crackled. For a second, I heard another sound beneath the static, a low, rhythmic thumping, like something heavy being dragged across a wooden floor. Then her voice returned, a desperate rush. He puts the mask on. The shiny one. Don't let him take the new girl, please. The call dropped. I sat there, my headset suddenly heavy. A prank, it had to be. But the file, the details a kid wouldn't know. I pulled the cold case file. Lily vanished from her bed on October 31st, 1997. Her family lived at 1427 Maple Lane, a yellow Victorian. An older sister, Chloe, was the last to see her. The case went cold. No body, no suspects, just a shattered family in a neighborhood that never forgot. A new girl. I cross-referenced recent files for 1427 Maple Lane. The house had been sold last year to a young couple, the Carvers. They had a 3-year-old daughter, Maisie. My shift ended at 6 a.m. I drove to Maple Lane instead of going home. The yellow Victorian stood at the end of a cul-de-sac, looking tired. The porch swing was indeed broken, hanging by one chain. The upstairs window, Lily's old room according to the file, was dark. As I watched, a shadow passed behind the glass. Too tall to be a child. A man's silhouette. Then the curtain twitched, and a small, pale face peered out. A little girl with dark hair. Maisie. Beside her, for just a fraction of a second, I saw another face. A ghostly superimposition of an older girl with solemn eyes and 2 missing front teeth. Lily. Then it was gone. I reported the call. My supervisor, a weary man named Harris, listened with polite disbelief. Elara, you know the drill. Obvious hoax. Someone read the cold case online. We get these every Halloween season. The timing, I insisted. He takes them on Halloween. That's in 9 days. There's a 3-year-old girl in that house now. He sighed. I'll make a note. Maybe have a patrol car do a drive-by. But without a credible threat or evidence, we can't just storm a family's home because you got a spooky call. The second call came 2 nights later. Same line, same ID, unknown. This time Lily was crying. He's making the room ready. It smells like paint, white paint. He likes it white. Lily, I need you to be brave. Can you tell me anything about the bad man? What does he look like? He looks like everybody and nobody. The mask makes him nobody, but his hands? He has a mark, like a blue moon on his wrist. She started to hum, a tuneless, shaking sound. He hums when he works. This song. She hummed a few bars. A nursery rhyme. London Bridge is falling down. I knew that tune. Every kid knows it. But the way she hummed it was wrong. The cadence was off, sinister. Is he in the house now, Lily? He's always in the house, she whispered. He lives in the walls. The call cut out. I was obsessed. I couldn't sleep. I spent my days in the city archives, digging through property records for 1427. Maple Lane. The house was built in 1920, over a dozen owners. I traced them forward from the Millers, the family who lost Lily, before them. A single man, Arthur Vane, owned the house for nearly 50 years. He died in 1995, 2 years before Lily vanished. I found his obituary. Retired postman, quiet, no family. A photo showed a man with mild eyes and a faint smile. Nothing monstrous. But then I saw it. In a group photo from a community picnic, his sleeve was rolled up. On his left wrist was a distinctive, blurry birthmark, shaped like a crescent, a blue moon. Arthur Vane was dead before Lily was taken. How? I went back further. A pattern emerged from census data, police blotters, old news snippets. Every 20-30 years, a child vanished from that house or its immediate vicinity. 1968, 1942, 1919, the records got fuzzy. But the pattern was a heartbeat, a silent, rhythmic predation. Vane didn't act alone. He was part of something, a lineage, a tradition. The current owner, Mark Carver, worked in IT. His wife, Sarah, was a freelance graphic designer. They'd bought the house from an estate sale. No kids, they'd told the realtor. Then little Maisie came along. I had to warn them. It was unethical. It could cost me my job, but I didn't care. I went to their door the next afternoon, posing as a city worker doing a historical home survey. Sarah Carver answered, a friendly woman with tired eyes. Maisie clung to her leg, a shy little thing with enormous blue eyes. This house has quite a history, I said, forcing cheer. Did you know a little girl named Lily Miller once lived here? Yes, we know. The neighbor told us. It's sad. You have a beautiful little girl, I said, looking at Maisie. You must be very security conscious. Something flickered in Sarah's eyes. Fear. We are. Why do you ask? Just that these old houses, sometimes they have hidden spaces, old servant stairways, coal chutes. It's worth checking. I was speaking in code, hoping she'd understand. Mark appeared behind her, a tall man with a polite, closed-off expression. Is everything okay, hun? Just the city, Sarah said, her voice tight. I left my card with the fake city, department title scribbled out, and my real cell number on the back. If you ever notice anything strange, anything at all, please call. As I walked to my car, I looked up at the house. In the attic window, a window I hadn't noticed before, small and grimy, a face watched me. Lily's face, pale and desperate. Her mouth formed two silent words. He's here. Sarah Carver called me that night. Her voice was a thin wire of panic. It's Maisie. She's talking to someone in her room. Someone named Lily. She says Lily is scared and lives in the walls. She says the humming man is coming to make her room white. I told her to take Maisie and go to a hotel. Now, don't pack. Just go. Mark thinks I'm crazy, she sobbed. He says it's an imaginary friend, that the stress of the move is getting to me. Get your daughter and leave, I repeated. I'm on my way. I drove like a demon. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I couldn't let another little girl become a line in a cold case file. When I arrived, the house was dark except for a single light in the living room. Sarah's car was gone. Mark's SUV was in the drive. I knocked, then pounded. No answer. The door was unlocked. Mr. Carver, Sarah? My voice echoed in the foyer. The house was cold, colder than it should be. A faint smell hung in the air, the sweet, chalky scent of fresh paint. He's making the room ready. I found Mark Carver in the living room, sitting in an armchair facing away from me. A glass of amber liquid sat untouched on the table. Mr. Carver, are you okay? Where's Sarah and Maisie? He didn't move. I stepped closer and saw the rope. It was a thin, cruel-looking cord, digging into the flesh of his neck, tying him to the high-backed chair. His head lolled at an unnatural angle. His eyes were open, glassy. He was dead. On the wall opposite him, written in what looked like red lipstick, or something worse, were the words, "She is mine now." A low, rhythmic humming began upstairs. The tune, "London Bridge is Falling Down." The bad man was here. And Sarah and Maisie hadn't escaped. I should have called 911, but I was the 911, and I knew no one would come in time. I took the heavy fire poker from the hearth and crept up the stairs. The humming came from behind a door at the end of the hall, not Maisie's cheerful pink room. A different door, one that seemed to blend into the wallpaper. The attic door. It was unlocked. The stairs beyond were narrow, steep, and dark. The humming was clearer now, vibrating in the wooden bones of the house. My fair lady, I climbed. The attic was not a cluttered space of memories. It was a white room, just as Lily described. Walls, floor, ceiling, all painted a stark, blinding white. In the center stood an old-fashioned porcelain bathtub, also painted white. The air reeked of paint and something else, a coppery organic smell. And in the corner, a man stood with his back to me. He wore coveralls spattered with white paint. He was humming, carefully brushing white paint onto the wall, covering something dark and rust-colored. He stopped humming. "I knew you'd come," he said, his voice calm, conversational. He didn't turn around. The witness always draws the guardian. It's part of the dance. "Where are they?" I demanded, gripping the poker. He finally turned. He wore a smooth, featureless mask of polished white ceramic. No eyes, no mouth, just a blank, shiny oval. In his reflection on its surface, I saw my own terrified face, distorted. "Safe, for now," he gestured with the paintbrush. "The mother is resistant. The child is perfect. So small, so bright. She'll keep the White Room company for a long time." "You're Arthur Vane. You're dead." The mask tilted. "Arthur was my father. I am Alistair. The work passes down. The need passes down. Some families inherit china. Mine inherits hunger." He took a step toward me. In his other hand, he held not a paintbrush, but a long, wicked-looking boning knife, also painted white. "The house needs a silence," he whispered, his voice muffled by the mask. "Children are so loud. Their laughter, their tears. We soak it up. We paint the walls with it. And for a time, the house is quiet. But the silence fades. It always fades, and then we must make a new silence." He lunged. I swung the poker. It connected with his shoulder with a sickening crack. He grunted but didn't fall, his strength inhuman. The knife flashed. I stumbled back, feeling a line of fire across my forearm. I scrambled for the stairs, but he was faster. He kicked the attic door shut. The lock clicked. Trapped in the White Room with the bad man. The White Room had no windows. No escape. Alistair Vane advanced, his blank mask reflecting the single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. "You're not the first to interfere," he hummed, the tune twisting into something grotesque. "The police officer in 68, the social worker in 42, they're in the walls too. Their silence is particularly strong." He pointed the knife at a section of the wall. I saw it then, not just paint, but layers and layers of it. And beneath the most recent coat, the faintest outline of a handprint, small and desperate. The attic floor creaked behind him, not from his weight. A small, translucent figure materialized near the white bathtub. Lily. She looked at me, her eyes wide with fear, then pointed to the far wall. Her mouth moved. "Thin here." Alistair sensed it. He spun, knife raised, but swiped through empty air, still whispering, "Little ghost, your time is over. I have a new song to collect." While he was distracted, I threw myself at the wall she'd indicated. It wasn't plaster. It was old, rotten wood paneling disguised by paint. I slammed my shoulder against it. It groaned. Alistair turned back to me with a roar. But Lily acted. The single light bulb flickered, then went out, plunging us into absolute blackness. In the dark, I heard his enraged scream, the skitter of the knife on the floor. I clawed at the paneling, my nails breaking. A crack of light appeared. Not daylight, the sickly glow of a street lamp filtering through a dirty window. A hidden window in a hidden space. I kicked. The wood splintered. I tumbled through, not into freedom, but into another small, dark space. A crawl space between the attic and the second-floor ceiling. And curled in the corner, gagged and bound with white cord, were Sarah and Maisie. Sarah's eyes were frantic above the gag. Maisie was mercifully unconscious. "I've got you," I whispered, fumbling at their bonds. The cords were tight, complex knots. Alistair's work. From the White Room, I heard the light bulb flick back on. He was coming. I couldn't get the knots undone. I pulled out my keys, sawing at the cord with the jagged edge of my car key. It was agonizingly slow. A white-painted hand shot through the broken paneling, grabbing my ankle. I screamed, kicking out, connecting with something. The hand retreated. Lily appeared again, crouched by Maisie. She reached out a spectral hand and touched the cord around the little girl's wrists. The fibers didn't break, but they seemed to loosen, to rot in an instant, crumbling to dust. Hope surged. I pointed to Sarah's bonds. Lily shook her head, her form flickering. She was weakening. She pointed at me, then at the cords. She couldn't interact with the physical world much, but she could with me. I understood. I placed my hands over Sarah's bonds, and Lily placed her ghostly hands over mine. A wave of profound cold shot through me, a cold that carried the scent of forgotten birthdays and lost sunlight. The cords under my hands turned brittle and fell apart. Sarah tore her gag off, gasping. "Maisie!" I scooped up the sleeping child. "This way." Lily pointed to the far end of the crawl space. There was a small square hatch, an old coal chute door painted over. We crawled. Behind us, Alistair was tearing at the broken paneling, his masked face appearing in the hole, a blank moon of terror. Sarah reached the hatch first, slamming her body against it. It didn't budge. Painted shut. "Together," I hissed. We braced and kicked once, twice. On the third kick, with a shower of paint chips and rust, it burst open, revealing a sheer drop to the backyard below. It was too far, maybe 10 feet. We'd break an ankle or worse. Alistair's upper body was through the hole now, crawling toward us like a white, deadly insect. Lily appeared one last time, standing in the opening of the chute. She looked at me, then at Maisie in my arms. She smiled a sad, brave little smile. Then she turned and threw herself not at Alistair, but into him. He screamed, a real sound of pain and shock. His body convulsed. The blank mask cracked, a hairline fracture spreading from top to bottom. From behind it, I saw not a man's face, but a swirling, hungry darkness. "Go!" Sarah yelled. We jumped. We landed in a tangle of limbs and shock on the cold, damp grass. Pain shot through my ankle, but it held. Sarah scooped up Maisie, and we ran, limping, screaming into the silent night. We didn't stop until we were 3 streets over. I called 911, my voice hoarse. Real 911. As the sirens wailed in the distance, I looked back at the yellow house. In the attic window, now lit from within by a pulsating, sickly light, 2 figures stood. Alistair, his mask now split in 2, revealing a shadow where a face should be. And beside him, holding his hand, a small, translucent girl in a white dress. Lily. She wasn't fighting him anymore. She was standing with him. Her head turned slowly toward me, and she gave a small, resigned wave. She had traded her chance for peace to buy us time, and now she was bound to him again. To the house. To the silence. The police found Mark. They found the White Room. They found records in the walls, bones, trinkets, a history of horror. Alistair Vane was gone, vanished. The house was sealed. But I know he's not finished. The hunger is hereditary. The lineage is unbroken. And last night, on my personal phone, a call from an unknown number. A little girl's voice, whispering through static. "He found a new house. It's blue, and there's a little boy who loves trains. Help. The work never ends. The witnesses call, and someone has to answer. My name is Elara Grey. I was a 911 operator. Now I'm something else."